fresh off one of the most, as Chris said earlier, most satisfying victories we've had this season as the Tigers stopped the Astros 10-0. And the Astros came in, by the way, allowed 12 runs yesterday against Baltimore. They lost the series to Baltimore, and it was the third time in a week that they've given up double-digit runs. So, welcome to the Tigers Minor League Podcast here. Brandon Day is on vacation, so it's just Chris and I, the usual. Well, for those who listen to us for a long time, this is the huge, if you will. But Brandon is enjoying a much-needed break. I'm Rogelio Castillo alongside Miss Chris Brown. You can find us on you can find us on Apple Podcasts or listen to podcasts. Please like and subscribe us on YouTube. And for all those Patreon members, including Lisa, and there's a couple of new others there, thank you for joining our Patreon. I just posted a video of a prospect flashback of Juan Encarnacion, and I've been doing these minute videos, and we have our TikTok. So we do have a TikTok, believe it or not, Chris, and I've actually been, because I'm off work right now. By the way, the donations have been helpful. Thank you, by the way, for people who have donated or joined. Currently, right now, that is a source of income right now. As I was unexpectedly laid off a couple of weeks ago from my day job. So right now, and I haven't been going to the ballpark either because I've just been doing stuff around the house and trying to catch up a little bit. And, of course, doing job stuff and trying to find jobs and stuff like that. Anyway, but I've been trying to do more videos, and so I've been doing these 60-second or less videos of just prospects. I'm going to do one on Colt Keith tomorrow. I'm doing an article on Colt Keith as well. And we had over 2,000 views on one we did on TikTok it was Kevin McGonigal, and we did one on Edward Valencia too, who's off to a really good start. And so if you follow us on Instagram, it's on there too, and trying to get some more video out there. So long introduction, rambling over. Chris is in Pittsburgh. Chris, is that what hoodie is that? That looks like a cool.
This is my Erie Seawolves hoodie.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I was gonna say it looks eerily familiar there.
I got it when we went out for the Moon Mammoths game.
Yeah.
I'm in the I'm on site again in Pittsburgh. Last time I didn't like the way that my headphones sounded. I was just using my Apple headphones, and I kept hearing clicks and pops when I listened.
Yeah.
So I grabbed my work headphones, and hopefully it's not so clicky and poppy. But if it is, sorry everyone, I've got limited resources here.
No, it's the luggage moving in Pittsburgh. Okay.
Oh, it's great. There's hardly any jams.
No, there's a I got you a mic. So next time there's a USB mic that's been ordered. So Charles, thank you for the $10 there, for appreciated. With the question, Dr. Joe was called up on to AAA Toledo on September 8th and the Tigers on September 24th. Any chance McDonald repeats this in 2025? Charles, there's a possibility he might be up in Toledo. I just don't know. The question is, where do you put him, though? I mean, they would have to let go a couple of other players to make that happen, but I can totally see that happening. Or with Binghamton just sending up a few players down to Syracuse, the team that, like, Binghamton's one of the best teams in AA. They sent out the Mets sent out their best prospects. So that being said, the Tigers could keep McGonigal and Clark down there for a triple three-peat for Erie, which hasn't been done since the Montgomery Rebels did it in the 70s for the Tigers. And so, I don't know. I don't know, Chris. I think in this case, Sky Harris might just keep him down there for the sake of that. But it is tempting to have McGonigal. It does help that Trey Sweet did have a triple tonight, and he almost had a home run earlier as well. But
he did hit it. He threw it on homer at the end.
I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just different with pitchers and hitters, right? Like with Jackson Jobe, it's the stuff is the stuff. You can bring him up. You can manage when he plays. He does not playing every day. With McGonigal, if you bring him up, you're playing him every single day, right? You're not bringing him up to sit on the bench. I suppose it's possible you would bring him up just to kind of hang out, but I think they'd rather he play every day somewhere. It does feel like, AA is not presenting much of a challenge for him, at least offensively speaking. So a bump to AAA wouldn't necessarily be out of the question. The one way I would see them doing it is if they've already decided he's their starting shortstop or starting second baseman next year, and they just want to get any potential growing pains out of the way now. But even still, I don't know if it would necessarily, as much as we love him and he's such a good hitter and really talented, it's still the big leagues, right? And all these guys we've seen come up. Colt Keith is just kind of now figuring it out, right? In year two, Riley Green took like a year and a half to figure it out. It's a huge jump. Um, so I don't know if he would necessarily really help the team that much right now, but I don't know. It would be fun. We'd love to see that sort of thing, just because it's fun to watch in prospects. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, there's yeah there. I don't. I like that to happen, but at the same time, you're right. It is a guy who, and I said this on our Discord too. He's the type of player that does need regular playing time, and he thrives off that. And you can notice the adjustments. And for Colt Keith, the article I'm doing is just because he's settled in the leadoff spot so well, and it's good to see. And there was a funny thing I posted about saying, I posted on Twitter. Somebody said, well, he's not living up to prospect hype, and I'm thinking to myself, what? Like, the guy's hitting over two. I mean, I don't know what you expected him to be. I don't understand that at all. But he's getting close to a two-WAR player. He's contributing, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. And yeah, it is. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about too. We'll talk about the division alignment idea that Rob Manfred ran out there, and we'll definitely talk about the minor leagues. But anyway, Colkie's doing fine. I don't understand that. So
Yeah, I think I mean, in the minors he hit for more power than this, but and so people kind of expect, again, it's one of those things where you see a guy doing big things in the minors, you're like, hey, why can't he come up and do that in the big leagues? And it's just different. It's just really different. And so Hope Keith is figuring things out, and I do think he's eventually going to be that 2025 home run guy that we thought. He's just taken a while to figure that out and find his footing, and he's become a really good top of the order hitter. And I'm not going to complain about that. Hopefully he gets a few more chances against left-handed pitching down the road. But even if he doesn't, he's still been really valuable for him.
as far as Stan's question about the Erie Seawolves struggling in the second half, it's simple. They don't have any starting pitching.
Yep.
It's all been injured. They're doing bullpen starts right now. They have been decimated by injuries, and so that is a big reason why they're struggling. They can score just fine, but they just don't have any. They don't have any the same relief core. They don't have the same pitching that they did last year. And Burhan's inconsistent, and you don't really have a go-to. Burhan's are probably right now. Technically, it's. I mean, Burhan, and I think of why am I drawing a blank all of a sudden on his name?
Surwa,
And that's Suro too, but
Sears,
Sears, and who's the other the Austin
Bergner.
Austin Bergner. That's it. It's just that it's to me it's still really a matter of them trying to figure out what they have with their bullpen. So
Yeah, when we get to the Erie slide and down the road, you'll see. Last week they got one good start from a starter, and the other five were somewhere between bad and absolutely disastrous. It's just they just don't have, like you said, they don't have the starting pitching right now for whatever reason.
yeah, and Jake, that's a line I never thought I would hear in my life that say after Troy Watson left, the Seawolves has been downhill. It's true. Watson velocity's been up this year. Watson's been really effective actually. His strikeouts are up too. There's been changing his mechanics a little bit, and he's throwing with higher velocity. So yeah, by the way, I love what Buddy Love said here. Cole Keith is still like 23.
Well, yeah, he just turned 24, didn't he?
Yeah. As far as Meadows goes, Meadows has been banged up, and just injuries aside, there's still time on that too. I'm not concerned about Meadows at this point right now because they're getting contributions from guys like Winslow Perez, who hit his 10th home run of the season, and he is now the 9th Tiger to hit in double digits this year. So they're getting production from him, and he's been hitting better. And even like Chris, his glove is out there sometimes a little. I don't know. He makes good attempts. I mean, he's got a good arm out there. He can get assists out there, but his range is getting better.
Yeah, it's it takes time for everything. So, but yeah, I don't know. We're as Tigers games go, like we said, that was about as fun as it can get. You got home runs from Riley Green and Colt Keith and Drake Sweeney and Carpenter with a triple, Perez. They just and Jack Flaherty looking really good again. How many times has he gone 7 innings this year? It can't be more than once or twice.
Yeah, I think that's his only. I'll have to look that up. But as far as that was his best, probably his best start of the season. Honestly, like to me, he was did a really good job of changing the eye levels, going up and with his fastball, his slider looked really, really good, and he really kept Houston off limits. And one of those things where you look at his record, and I know people still care about wins and losses, but he's got 153 strikeouts and 124 innings pitched. So you look at that, and that's to me a better indication of how a pitcher is. As far as that's his first seventh inning start of the year, so
Wow,
he's
there you go.
gone six. Yeah, he's gone six several times. But yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that and we got Troy Melton got an inning there. I think people are I think understandably kind of upset that they've seen Troy Melton go out and look awesome, right? And they've kind of relegated him to bullpen duty while they send Chris Paddock out there every fifth day to get demolished. But we talked about it before. Like Paddock is just there to help eat innings, right? And they,
Yeah.
I'm sure if they didn't weren't worried about Melton's inning totals, he'd be in the rotation. But he had 100 innings last year. I think he's almost to 100 right now. So they're probably going to cap him at 125, 130, and he looks like a guy that they want to have pitch in the playoffs too. It feels a little bit like they're doing each each of these series coming up. You see the way that they're kind of tailoring their bullpens to each opponent. They sent down Bailey Horn today, so we only have one lefty in the bullpen because the Astros don't have any left-handed hitting right now. And they're doing that, and they're also, I think, testing out potential scenarios for playoff series. Right, the Astros could be a playoff opponent for the Tigers again, and they want to see how Troy Melton handles things in one inning stints against a potential playoff opponent. So I don't know. There's a lot more at work right now than I think people realize.
It's a bullpen roulette. I really believe that. I wrote an article calling that, but that's what they're doing. They're experimenting with the bullpen again. And look, I don't want them to burn out. I don't want them to burn out Troy Melton because, simply put, you look at the injuries they've had this year. Jasper answers the question: why can't Montero eat innings? That's a very good question. And to tell you the truth, he's been pitching piggyback or out of the bullpen as of late. So I don't know what they're planning on doing with him, but I think to me, and the swag about Troy Melton, talking to him a couple times after the game in the locker room. Melton's just sitting there like this. He's just like smiling. He's there. He's in the major leagues. He knows it, and he's just like he knows he put up. The guy knows he put up a really good year in Erie, and knows he belongs there. And to me, that's the confidence, and that's also like it was funny when I asked him about the taking the ball off the shin too. He was like, "Oh yeah, it still hurt." He said it took it was just it took until almost like the beginning of August till that knot went away. And so
That's crazy.
as once I know people don't like Scott Harris these days sometimes, depending on who you ask, but
I think he's going to be just fine.
and as far as Troy
Oh,
Melton goes,
you snuck it in there. Nice.
yeah, I stuck it in there. I haven't had a chance to edit it, and that's been one of those things I have to edit. But anyway, look, yeah, you can Montero. That is a good question. Though I don't know why Connor Montero has not gotten more innings. Maybe he'll be a September call up.
You know,
Compared. Yeah, well, I know that, Jake, that he came out of because of Alex Cobb starting, but I'm saying is maybe they'll put him out of the bullpen as a possibility. Cobb started in Toledo the other day, pitched 2 innings, didn't look as hobbled as he did in West Michigan.
yeah, I think the one thing we've learned about this front office is they covet depth and options more than just about anything else. And so they could have kept putting Kyler Montero out there, and honestly, he probably would have been better than what we've seen from Paddock. But when Olson went down, I think that I don't know if it was a panic move so much, but I do think they felt like they needed to get a big league starter, no matter the cost. I guess not no matter the cost, but basically for as cheap as possible. So the
Yeah.
opposite of no matter the cost. But yeah, I think they just don't want to get caught having to rely on bullpen chaos or pitching chaos again because the bullpen isn't the same as it was last year, and so they want more starting pitching. I think.
Yeah, or Katie is still pitching down in Lakeland, so you want to see that eventual call up. As far as how Alex Lang looked tonight, personally, I know his whiff rate was pretty good in Toledo, but it was just on a knuckle curve. I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried. Maybe he was just pumped up tonight. He got out of the inning, no damage or anything. I just, I just want him, and I think what AJ Hinch is going to do is going to ease him into the situations, not high stress situations. I think he could be effective, but he has to pair up that fastball better with that knuckle curve, Chris. I'm sorry, like I just don't. He really needs to still continuously work on getting more swings and misses. It's easier said and done when you're in Toledo versus the big league level,
Well,
of course. And so, yeah,
I mean, he's Alex Lang, same guy he's always been. He actually, he does get a decent amount of whiffs with the fastball and the changeup. He just doesn't throw enough strikes. He throws like 60% of his pitches outside of the strike zone. And if guys chase, that's great. If they don't, you get in trouble, and then you have to come in and when they're sitting fastball, they're big leaguers. They can hit it. So, you know, sometimes you feel like, hey, we just need to get this guy fixed and he'll be fine. But I don't think Alex Lang is ever going to be a premium strike thrower and a reliable back end bullpen guy. Just not for a team with serious World Series aspirations, right? Like he might be a closer for a team. He's a closer for the 2022 Tigers, right? Like it's not.
yeah.
This is not the team for him, as it were. Like hopefully he can come back, but just watching him, you watch, you could. It's easy to see why his command isn't great. His follow through is different on almost every pitch. Sometimes he'll swing his leg like all the way over to the first base side. Sometimes it lands straight. He's just kind of wild out there, and who knows? Maybe they can talk something into him, but I'm expecting him to kind of, as you said, bullpen roulette. It's his turn at the wheel. I'm not necessarily sure he's gonna take it and run with it.
I mean, yeah, Stan, 13 strikes out of 20 pitches, but yeah, he had a walk and he allowed a pair of hits and a strikeout. That's not
Yeah,
exactly,
and what I mean is, and I'll take a look, but some of those strikes were probably swings and misses below the zone, right? I have to take a look. He's this is what he's been down in the minors this year too. Is
yeah,
we watched a whole bunch of starts or outings. We put them up on the Twitter page just to
and YouTube too as well. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. Like you can hope. I'm just not gonna hold my breath that he's gonna suddenly start throwing strikes.
And I'm not trying to be negative either. I'm just trying to just keep the call it the way I see it, in terms of like it's just and Charles, I think Charles makes a really good point here. He said that I'm convinced that Tommy Kahnle doesn't make the playoff roster. They're trying to take all options to take the spot. I think that's exactly what they're doing. They are literally just experimenting with the bullpen right now. That is just a giant experimentation. I mean, you saw Herder go down in Toledo today. The underlying numbers showed he possibly was struggling. He was struggling throwing strikes consistently. It is with the Bailey Horn as well. It is to me, it's a roulette. It's just literally you just throw it out there, see what number comes up, and land on it and go from there. I mean, to me, it's just I know I'm hitting that point a lot, but as far as like Matt Sillinger goes and all those guys, who knows if they get a call up? I don't know. They would have to make room for those guys in the first place. A, but B, it is I think the Tigers are just going to see what they can get out of that final spot there as they have the Royals coming up here and then they go on the West Coast to Sacramento after this. And so you're catching Houston at a really good time too. Houston has struggled. Seattle's been on fire, and they are, I think they're a game up on Seattle heading into tonight, I believe it was. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, those teams. It's Tigers fans felt Cleveland creeping close. It got to with 5 games and everyone is dying. Basically, every other division outside of the National League Central now has a really tight pennant race, and Houston and Seattle are going back and forth, and that should be really fun to watch. This is, I don't know, the Tigers, right? You don't want to just like assume and take it for granted. But this feels like they're going to probably coast to the division title, a la what 2011, 2012. What's going on?
2011, yeah, that's sorry, yeah, 2011, yeah.
No, we got
Sorry, no,
subliminal
sorry,
messages.
no, I just sorry. Oh man, sorry, I lost. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My brother sent me a text and just lost.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, as you were saying, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Yeah,
Uh,
Tigers are good. Other teams are in much tighter
yeah.
races. Tigers are, I don't know, like it's fun to be scared of Cleveland, I guess, for Tigers fans because they just feel like they have some sort of weird magic, but they're not a good team. They really aren't. It wouldn't shock me if the Royals overtake them and ultimately finish second in the division. And the Royals aren't a terribly good team either. We'll see them in the next series or two series from now. I guess it's Houston then Oakland, or
No,
is it?
it's
No,
Houston
it's
and Kansas
Houston,
City. It's
KC,
Houston.
then Oakland and KC.
Yep. Yep.
So
Or
Oakland.
Sacktown
No, they're
or
Oakland.
the yeah, they're Oakland. Yeah. Yeah. So by the way, I will be in Erie from Wednesday till Friday. So I will be in Erie for 3 days. And I'm trying to go. When are you leaving for? When are you still in Pittsburgh, Chris? Till
I'm
what? Friday?
I'm I'm leaving probably Friday morning.
Okay. So my goal is that the Pirates are playing the Blue Jays on Wednesday. So I might try to
Oh,
sneak up there early to
hmm.
go to Pittsburgh to go see a Pirates and Blue Jays game. But then they play their Pittsburgh. They have another game on Friday, so I might go to Pittsburgh Friday. I don't know yet. We'll see. It depends on money too, because I am using thanks to our donation people, stretching the dollar to the best I could. So we'll see how that will play out. We'll see. But no, but look at the division. Look, Boston is 5 back of Toronto. Toronto's at 70. Like Boston's still continuing to win. They just signed. They also, I believe, they just signed Nathaniel
Yeah,
Lowe
yeah.
over the stretch. So that was a good signing by them. You have the Yankees, right there breathing down your back. The Rays are kind of fading a little bit. And then we go to the West. The Padres were on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers like, look, you guys are the Padres. This is what we're gonna do. Knock it off. We're gonna sweep you. This is what we do. You guys are still the Padres. You guys are still to talk all that. Like I love Padre fans because they talk so much crap about Dodger fans, and then the Dodgers go and smack them in the mouth. Like the Dodgers will remind them like we're just gonna whip it out and tell you who we are because that's what we're gonna do. Meanwhile, Milwaukee, by the way, the Cubs for all it's funny, Chris. Like you look at Cubs fans, and I'm sitting there going like I'm looking at the struggles of Pete Crow Armstrong, and I'm looking at the division standings. It's like they're still 70 and 54. And I mean, the Brewers are ridiculous. They're
Yeah.
9-1 in their last 10 games. They're on a winning clip, and the Cubs are still pretty good. And people are like acting like the Cubs are a meltdown. Did I miss something?
Well,
Or
well, I mean the Cubs they are struggling. It's kind of similar to what the Tigers have done. The difference is that well the Tigers had to weather Cleveland kind of playing fairly well. The Cubs had to watch as the Brewers went on a heater of all heaters. They were like 30 and 5 in the last 35 games, I think. Something absurd. Um, but yeah, you look at the standings since the All-Star break. You look down here, you've got the Cubs at 13 and 14, same as the Dodgers. Tigers are 14 and 15. Meanwhile, Milwaukee is 22 and 5. So, and the Royals are 16 and 11. Don't sleep on the Royals. But yeah, like the Cubs fans, I know I've got some friends in Chicago who are all upset because Kyle Tucker hasn't been hitting at all. Pete Crow Armstrong, as you said, like he swings at everything, and when you get guys like that, sometimes they stop hitting because teams stop throwing them stuff to hit. So the Cubs were that juggernaut offense earlier, and they're just not scoring right now, and the fans are all upset. And fans being fans, they it's the end of the world whenever a team starts struggling. I mean, you want to look at a team that's had it rough. Look at the Mets. Remember the Mets were in first place and one of the best teams in baseball, and I think since June 1st, they're one of the worst teams in baseball.
yeah,
I might be talking out of my rear here. Let's see. Since well, you don't want to say yeah. So since June 1st, the Mets are 30 and 36. That's tied for 22nd out of all the teams in baseball.
yeah,
Tigers are
there you
35
go.
and 32. So
For like all the times you see people complaining about the Tigers, I mean, for all it's worth, here they are with still the best record in the American League right now. After somebody mentioned here the lost by the Jays, and the Jays same thing. The Jays were out. Remember back in April and May, the Jays weren't really
yeah, they
doing much, and yeah,
if you look at, and I'm looking right now, the Blue Jays have the second best record in baseball since June 1st, 43 and
Yeah.
24, and now 43 and 25. But yeah, there's a reason they're not in first place in the American League because they weren't that good early on. So yeah, this is, when you get the wins matters some, but they all count.
Yeah. That's all that matters. And so, by the way, there was a great stat by Scott Bentley posted tonight. Lots on Tigers host. The Jack Flaherty 11 whiffs on 90 pitches, 31% whiff rate. Melton 2 whiffs on 9 pitches, 33% whiff rate. Alex Lang 5 whiffs on 20 pitches, 42% whiff rate. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, whiff there. So yeah, Charles, by the way, mentioned the 12:30 start for the Pirates. You need to leave the airport early, Chris.
Well, yeah, that's I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Friday would be. I mean, it would be ideal to go to a game on Friday. That'd be badass. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know you gotta get the car back though, right? Is that
Yeah, although I may be able to swing it. I
okay?
can look into it and see. But
Yeah, that would be awesome. Considering that we both have passes to go to any game we want to anywhere, and just
that's
flash the golden ticket. Although this is not the golden ticket. That's clearly not. This is a recall warning for a car I had. So
that's a warning for my carbon monoxide alarm.
yeah. All right. So yeah, there's as far as the minors go this week, I did post a interesting stat. All the affiliates are over 500 that are the full season ones, and then somebody posted nice stats. Now bring up the prospects.
All right.
Kind of hard to do when true. I mean, he's not lying about that, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
So
there's not a whole lot of room, and not a lot of people want to see Hao Lee and Max Anderson and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of room, and they don't fill any particular needs for the Tigers right now.
yeah,
I
and
did see
that's
that, Stan.
I was just gonna say there's not a lot and oh yeah, Stan sent it to me earlier, but I was in the middle of cleaning the house earlier, and I saw that and I was like, all right, good for Harold Castro.
I was looking because I thought there was a chance that Trey Cruz would have been Player of the Week. I thought there was a chance that Pacheco might have been Player of the Week, and I thought McGonigal had a chance, but Ralphie Velasquez went absolutely bonkers in Reading. So no Tigers Players of the Week this week, even though they played a lot of them played very well.
Yeah, there's another article I'm working on too with or video series is Pacheco and Graham. Oh, Peyton Graham had a good week too. So let's go to without further ado, let's go to the slides this week. The only slides, by the way, that you will actually like. So if you're a Patreon member, by the way, and you're a paid Patreon member, I should say, these slides will come to you right after the show or the first thing in the morning with all the stats from the minor leagues. I've been thinking about doing one for the Tiger stuff too as well, but it depends on requests. So our Patreon folks have been starting to get vocal about what they want in a good way. I like that. And so thank you for the feedback on that. It goes a long way because we want to make the best content possible for everybody out there. Whether you're a Patreon member or just people who do the website or go to our YouTube page. So that being said, here's what the moves look like this week. So as far as like there was not a lot of movement. There has been. I mean, I know there's been, River Hamilton and Joey Wimpleberg on the full season IR. So some more pitchers that were drafted starting on the injury list, unfortunately. But no surprise here. Carlos Mercado, honestly, it's been a while since we've heard from Mercado. They don't give us the injury reports like they did, Chris.
No, they used to. You kind of count on them once a month or so, and now those have gone away. Yeah, like you said, there wasn't a ton of stuff going on this week. I mean, there were a bunch of debuts, but we were going to mention that in the actual slide. So it was kind of cool to see, a handful of these 2025 draft picks play, and some of them are playing pretty darn well. So, but yeah, just a lot of the moves are involving the Tigers now, which I guess we should probably expect that we're coming down to the final few weeks of the minor league season.
Yeah. We're at week 21 numbers, and again, the Mudhens, Gabe Alvarez, once again, just doing the Lord's work down there, doing a fantastic job with all the shuffling down there, and he's been able to keep the Mudhens afloat as they went 4-2 against Columbus this week. Max Anderson had himself a week. Solid first week, as you mentioned in here, 8 for 26, 2 home runs, 2 stolen bases, or not stolen bases, 2 doubles. and 5 strikeouts. But yeah, Trey Cruz also coming into his own. He had a game-winning home run, right? That was
It was a walk-off grand slam.
yeah, walk-off grand slam. That's right. He's walking good. He's seeing the ball well. And look, I've said this. I've been on record saying this for the last 2 years. I think Trey Cruz should be in the major leagues. Is he going to be a dude? I don't know. I don't think so because he struggles on the right hand side. But still, Cruz offers a lot of possibilities as a utility player. He can play the outfield. He can play the infield pretty well. He's a really good, solid center fielder. He plays it well. And come to think of it, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
looking at the 2020 draft class this year, we had that discussion on Discord. Every player, with the exception of
Daniel
one,
Cabrera.
right? Daniel
Yeah.
Cabrera, who has been banished to the
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
think he's anywhere close to the organization. I think he's,
yeah.
probably working in somebody's law firm or whatever. But
Yeah, he's working. He's a future. Either he's going to be selling real estate or insurance agent. That's what his
yeah,
future is. Sorry.
um,
You know.
no, yeah. If Cruz makes the big leagues and he's kind of knocking on the door, he is 27, but it's again we've talked many times, not necessarily his fault, right? Like he's been playing well in Erie for like 2+ years. But yeah, Torkelson has had his ups and downs, but he's a big leaguer and a big league slugger. Uh, Dingler has really come into his own right. He's one of the more well-rounded catchers in all of baseball.
Yeah.
You've got Workman got up to the big leagues because on the strength of his tools. He's probably not gonna. He may make it back up to the big leagues a few more times in his career, but the hit tool isn't there. But you know, you got a big leaguer, and then Colt Keith, of course, their last pick in that draft he's coming to his own too. I think he's probably Dingler probably has passed him in WAR now, but yeah, when you go back and look, and at the time we thought it was a damn good draft. I remember
Yeah.
we kept posting the rankings and so yeah, kudos to Al Avila and the crew there for the 2020 draft, which was one of the weirdest and toughest drafts for anybody ever. It's you're basing the college season on like there were 3-4 weeks before everything got canceled. You're
Yeah.
basing your high schoolers and the guys from the summer before, and some teams didn't do much of anything. You look at I mentioned the Reds. The Reds
Yeah.
only one of their picks even made the big leagues. It was Joe Boyle who made the big leagues with I think the Rays, possibly the A's. Um, tough draft, and the Tigers did well, so good for them.
Yeah. And look, the bottom line about that draft too, as I recall, was the amount of. I mean, you mentioned earlier the lack of data, but at the same time, they were talking about, as I recall, that there were some guys they didn't see since like the winter, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
there was like the last time I saw guys was on the circuit league in the winter or early March when everything got shut down. So that to go off that, I mean, you almost like in a way I think it worked out perfectly for the Tigers and worked out well for other teams because you don't have to second guess it. You know what I mean? You don't have that time to go and look at that player again. I mean, you're seeing the player really once or twice and going, okay, that's the evaluation they're making versus seeing him 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times and going, well, wait a minute, and maybe overthinking it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think you can definitely overthink draft picks. I mean, sometimes, generally speaking, the more you see a guy, the better it's going to be. But yeah, you could probably do sort of paralysis by analysis, right? And you go back and look. I think that was the year that the Rays took Nick Bitsko, who was a high school pitcher who reclassified. So he wasn't even like he was a rising junior and then reclassified to be a senior, and that didn't work out well. I think his arm blew out immediately, and he never showed up. So yeah, but Trey Cruz, just to get back to that, there is, like you said, that there's a lot that he can do to help big league teams. He's a switch hitter. He plays all the defensive positions. He's got a little bit of speed, a little bit of pop, walks a lot. Um, it's I think he could help a big league club. I'm just not sure if it's this one this year. Yeah, I
yeah,
wanted
I
Austin
don't think.
Martin.
Yeah, Austin Martin would have been nice too. Like
Well,
we did. We wanted. No, I mean now in retrospect, yeah, I remember we were big fans of Austin Martin with that, but
or Asa Lacy, the
yeah.
fourth
Oh
pick,
God,
who's fallen off the planet. I
is
mean,
he still around?
not that I'm aware of. He couldn't ever throw strikes. I'm sure he's somewhere in the minors, but I haven't paid much attention. Let's see. Asa Lacy.
Yeah, but
Double A. He's in. Oh, he hasn't pitched
he's
since 2022. Whew,
ooh
that is
ooh
a toughie.
yeah. Sorry, that's rough. That is really rough. All right, well, let's go to Erie. As like I said, I'm going to be there this week for 3 days. With thanks again to Greg. I'm going to be if you have FanDuel Sports Detroit, we're gonna be on the I'm gonna be on the broadcast on Wednesday. I think Wednesday or Thursday, either or. Might be both days. Who knows? I don't know. But either way, thank you for the exposure for that. That's gonna be much appreciated. Also, I gotta give a shout out to you know what, we haven't done this yet, Chris. I know we the sports wrap on WJR.
Hmm.
We're on the like you mentioned this, Chris. We're both on the east and west coast of Michigan. So blah, blah, blah. Uper
Yeah,
from Motor Metrics was on the Jethro. Is it? I can never
Jethro
say it.
FM or whatever. Yeah, what is?
Yeah, Jethro FM in Grand Rapids. We're a Grand Rapids affiliate out there. And then I was on Sports Wrap with Mike Parsons and former line great and line play-by-play color guy Lomas Brown.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool, and I listened to it. You did a great job. I don't know. I said this at the time. I'm like, come on, Lomas. Lomas asked Raj if the Tigers don't make a deep playoff run if AJ Hinch is on the hot seat, something like that. And I was like, Lomas,
Yeah.
come on.
Well, it's cool. Yeah.
It's,
And then
yeah.
Chris
If
was
the,
on the Days of War podcast with Evan Petzel. So there you go.
yeah, he had me on he wanted to talk Kevin McGonigal and Troy Melton, and then who might come up to help the Tigers, if anybody from the minors, and so that was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all over the place right now. You can't get away from us.
Yes.
I mean, you could,
And
you could just turn things off. But
no, it's good, and I appreciate the opportunities to have us out there. But Charles brings up a player that I wanted to bring up in Tyron Lozardo, who has been, something's happened. You know, Charles. Let's just say this: like he hasn't wanted to. I don't want to say he doesn't want to catch. I'm not trying to irresponsible speculation, but he's not a fan of catching. Let's just say that. I'll leave it at that. I'll get some more intel when I get out there this week in Erie. But
yeah,
Chris. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you see, he fell off. I think MLB Pipeline's top 100 list. I think he's still on Baseball America's, but I doubt he will be to start next year. His stats are pretty awful lately, as you said. They're like 23 strikeouts in 10 games. He's always going to strike out a lot, but he's kind of stopped walking. He's not hitting for power. There's there's always ups and downs with prospects, and right now he's in a pretty big rut, and hopefully they can get him figured out because there's a lot of potential there for being a power hitting switch hitter, but and he's gone through some personal stuff this year too, so it's just sometimes maybe
yeah,
guys just kind of want to be done with it. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. Maybe we can, but maybe not. So.
yeah, he has gone through some personal stuff. Like there's probably a lot on his mind right now, and so I'm not, like I said, I don't like irresponsibly speculating, but it's just there could be a lot to be said about that. But as far as the rest of Erie's lineup goes, though, McGonigal just do McGonigal things. 6 for 19, 7 runs scored, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. Clark also had a really good week too as well. He's been seeing the ball better. Campos got off the snide a little bit with a pair of doubles, or he had 3 doubles. Still not walking. He's still striking out a little bit, but really good job by Steph Stevenson and Peck. Their first couple weeks in Erie, they seem to have adjusted well so far.
Yeah, they didn't look out of place at all. We've seen weeks from Peck where he strikes out a lot, doesn't walk, but he's a guy who he attacks the ball, especially if it's in the zone, and he hits it hard. And that was the case again. And Stevenson continues to be pesky player on kind of what we expected. He's a little bit like a little bit of a Mendoza out there. So those guys have come up and they look like they're helpful pieces. Clark continues to play really well. It's kind of funny that he is now sort of taking the back seat to McGonigal, even though he continues to play really well. Briseño is the one that's he's struggling too, not in the way that Lorenzo is, but he's still trying to find his footing at Double A, and I don't know if he will this year. I think he's, he may need to be back there next year to figure things out. But I still believe in his bat and his power. So,
Yeah,
it
no,
doesn't.
and
It's a great example of the way that player development can vary from person to person.
the old Maple Hammer. That's a good call there. Charles calling
Oh,
Stevenson, Jacobs Robson clone. That's a good comp there. But I think Stevenson has a little more speed than Robson. I think, at least in my opinion. But I was talking to Mark Gurash a couple weeks or a couple days ago about prospects, and one of the things that we were talking about was how selective Briseño is. Like sometimes it just fastball middle, strike one, fastball middle, strike two, takes the pitch. Maybe he's being too selective. Maybe he needs to be a little more aggressive.
I
I think
think
that's fair to say.
yeah, I think so. But I also think yeah, he to me it's a little bit like what we saw from Max Clark earlier in the year in West Michigan, where he's just it's like he's just feeling it out. He's getting a feel for what kind of pitching he's going to see. But yeah, I think he's best when he's attacking as well. But um, he seems most comfortable when he's working long at bats and getting the pitch that he can drive. But right now he's getting a lot of, they're just sequencing him to death. You know, pitching him backwards, giving him velocity when he's expecting breaking balls. And I think the talent is still there, and he'll figure it out. But he's going through some adversity, which is always a good thing for players. You want to see them struggle, and you want to see them adapt and overcome it. And that's, McGonigal and Clark don't particularly seem to be struggling.
No.
So, but you know, maybe it's fun to go around and win too.
Yeah, and look, Erie splitting against Chesapeake was, I think, pretty good considering that Chesapeake is it's still one of the worst teams in the league, but they are. But yeah, as C mentioned, he's absolutely right. Both Clarkman and Briseño could KO with sliders down and in. And one thing too, see that I've noticed about velocity, and this has happened with Clark or Anderson, but he was getting better with it. Was also jamming them on with inside fastballs too. Clark has gotten a little better with it, but Anderson was struggling with that in Erie before he got called up, and I think he started making some more adjustments down the stretch.
I think you'll find that 95% of left-handed hitters can get beaten with really good sliders down and in.
Yeah.
And it is something that they need to learn to adapt to, and not everybody can manipulate the barrel like McGonigal can. He's just kind of absurd. But those guys are good hitters, and they'll figure it out. They'll learn either to lay off those pitches or learn how to adjust and fight them off.
Speaking of absurd, by the way, West Michigan, 78 wins right now. They have completely they're in cruise control. Their offense has not missed a stride, and I know people are asking about Isaac Pacheco getting called up to Double A. Where to put him? Where are you going to put him? I think he's going to start the season in 2026 in Erie. But him, Peyton Graham, Hayden have been really just stirring the pot quite a bit there. Jackson Strong, it was still a weak, but he's still seen the ball better, nevertheless, and he did a really good job. He did an interview with Emily that you can find on our website, Emily Walden at TigersMLReport.com. But Pacheco becomes the all-time home run leader, and that's something that maybe they don't want to take a pride on. But I mean, the former leader was, here's the indication. The former home run leader was Ray Rivera. Ray Rivera was also 24, 25 when he did that. Is that right?
That sounds about right. Yeah, and he was very clearly that was one where they were actually like it felt like he was staying around just to do that. And he had nothing. He was 270 pounds. He was a poor, just a terrible defender in the outfield or at first base. I don't mean to be mean about that, but it was his hands were like stone. His mobility was no good. Pacheco has some other tools, and we've seen improvement from him. It's just they got him to West Michigan very early. I mean, I think that was. I don't think necessarily that the Scott Harris regime would have moved him up the way the Avila regime did, right? That was
Correct.
basically right before everything went south. I think not everything went south, but I think that was right before Avila was fired.
Left.
Um, and he's just been in West Michigan ever since. And he probably does deserve a chance at higher levels, but as you said, not really any room for him right now. And they viewed Peck and McGonigal as a bigger priority on the infield, and I think you can understand that.
Yeah, because for example, I think a guy like Carson Rucker, I think under the old regime would have probably started at West Michigan, and I'm glad that Rucker's been figuring it out as of late in Lakeland. We'll get to Lakeland here in a second. But yeah, you're right. You bring up a good point that Pacheco was, 1920 when he started in West Michigan, and
Mhm.
not a lot of time in Erie. I mean, he was literally, or Lakeland rather, he was not in Lakeland for that long.
It was probably 70 games, maybe 80,
Yeah.
like a little bit more than half the season. So, and he was holding his own down there, but as we can tell that from the new regime, they don't just look at the surface level stats. They look at other things, and he caught up to West Michigan. Other than hitting in Lansing, he struggled for several years, but to his credit, he's made some changes and has adapted, and it's fun to watch him. He seems to like hitting in Fort Wayne too.
That's a
Five
cool
home runs will
stadium
do.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool stadium too. The Preston Howery in the opening role is not doing too bad. The Whitecaps are just getting like these weird bullpen starts. I won't say weird, but it's just non-traditional starts. I mean, it's outside of Minton. It has been bullpen starts, but they're not skipping a beat.
Yeah, Howie, we're still kind of a little bit confused by that because he was a reliever for so long this year, and now they're stretching him out to go 4 innings at a time. He was actually the two-time starter last week. His first outing was rough. It was only 2 innings, but he pitched on Sunday and looked awesome. Didn't give up a hit, I don't think. So I don't know. I think that they it'll be interesting to see how they develop him going forward because he throws strikes and he's got enough pitches to start. So he might just be like a random like, I guess we'll turn you into starter. But yeah, and Elisalt, he's gave up some hits but battled through it, which is again you like to see that adversity, and so it's a kind of an interesting collection of players there in West Michigan now. They doesn't matter who they send there. Seemingly, they're just going to bomb other teams.
Yeah, and they're like I said, they're on pace just possibly to win 85 games or more at this point. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're 78. They have 78 wins right now, and so they have more wins than the Tigers do. And this is a team that potentially you're looking at. But you know what? I don't want to jinx it, but
Hmm.
let's just say they're poised to make a deep playoff run right now. So
Yeah, it's once you get into the tournament, anything can happen.
right,
But yeah, the way they've been playing this year, it seems like it's going to be hard to stop them. But who knows? Maybe they'll run into Lake County. Stupid Lake County.
yes, Lake County always does that thing. The Flying Tigers, by the way, it was one thing that was frustrating was again another player getting hit in the head. Goodman getting hit,
Hmm.
and I'm sorry. Clearwater has a broadcaster, a solo guy, and it's brutal watching those games sometimes with those guys. I mean, nice guy and all, but it's just sometimes hearing him call the games, it's like the Tigers did
Yeah.
something wrong with why they're scoring more runs, and I was like, God, come on, man.
Yeah, what was he complaining? He was complaining about stealing a base, or was
Yeah,
it a bunt?
it was something that happened where it was something that was not even it was a natural part of the game or something, and there was like, oh, well, come on, buddy. And it's like, God, hey, if Clearwater was doing that to Lakeland, I wouldn't expect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's kind of a bad mix of homerism and just not good at play-by-play announcing. He does a lot of stumbling over his words, a lot of misspeaking, and it's a hard job. I'm not saying I could do
yeah,
any better, but it's a tough listen. And their camera angles aren't always the best there in Clearwater. Sometimes they miss. We had a lot of that with Bowie is still the most annoying camera angle in the Eastern League. Um, a lot
yeah.
of things happen there that you just miss entirely because they don't have the camera. But and Clearwater is the team that's right behind Lakeland in the standings. It doesn't matter, but oh, there you go.
In case you missed it, Victor Robles just threw his helmet too, right? He threw his helmet.
He
Like,
threw his bat at the pitcher
yeah,
and then like emptied out the dugout. He threw
yeah,
everything in there.
that was
So
awesome. It was awesome because I mean, he was pissed, and so
yeah, it's always fun to see
Detroit
stuff like that.
Degenerate, good to see you, man. Good to
Hey,
see you in the chat, man. Hopefully it was all as well as you, sir, as well. Good to see you in here. But yeah, so Lakeland, getting back to Lakeland though. Carson Rucker seems like he's getting comfortable. He's getting the 289 since June. Chris, that's important to mention too, because I think he's finally healthy and he is really kind of he's been hitting. He's always been hitting extra bases. Don't get me wrong, but it's the better vision at the plate. It seems like he's coming in his own in that way.
yeah, he's adjusted to the level, and he understands what pitchers are trying to do to him now. We're still waiting on the over the fence power to come at some point. It's in the bat. He hits the ball hard. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is good progress for him. He's looks like a quality offensive player now. The defense is still rough, but he's got the arm and he's making strides there. He's just, he was a high school bat who was a little bit more raw in general, and then he missed 2 full years of baseball. So it's if we treat him like he was in last year's draft, then he's doing just fine. So I think that's just something to keep in mind. I
And that's the thing too. He's still what? He's still 20, right?
think he's 20. Yeah, he may
Yeah.
be 21 now. Let's see. He is no. He turns. Oh, he just today's his birthday. Today
Okay.
he is 21.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure he's having a beer somewhere. But Gabriel Reyes, by the way, as Jake mentioned, Gabriel Reyes is back to 95. The Reyes we're like you mentioned, this is the Reyes that we were all hyped up about is back. And I think he was a little out of shape to start the year, what have you. But that is the Gabriel Reyes that we're all hyped about. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. But I ended up watching that start, Chris. I went back and watched it, and it is his control is definitely back, and that's such a great relief for in terms of the international. Also, a couple guys too. Cash made his debut. A couple of the
Mhm.
2025 draft picks made their debut, which we posted a video on. But no, for Reyes, the international side of things has been Castillo's been off to a slow start or struggled at West Michigan, and Kelvin Salcedo has been, that's really good international wise, but Reyes is the development of him. I think he might. I thought last year he would start the season. I thought this year he would start the season in West Michigan, but he ended up being out of shape, and which is why he wasn't in with the Whitecaps. But he looks like he's coming into his own finally.
Yeah, I mean, you hope so. This is kind of what he looked like last year, right? It's this is what he looked like at the end of last year, and why we thought he would be moving up this year. And it's just like, well, he's kind of back to square one, which is fine, right? Like he's not regressing, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him get another challenge too, because we really like. It's one of those ones where like this guy seems pretty good. Like we kind of believe in our ability to look at these guys and determine if they're talented or not, and we're like, yeah, this seems legit. And we're not professional scouts or whatever, and we're not privy to all the information, but it would be nice to get some of that confirmation bias back. So yeah, actually, he is kind of good, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be. I think sometimes when we do, like for example, when we talk to J.J. Cooper about what we see versus what they see, I do like the contrast to it because then it allows us to even. Okay, for example, they have a certain player highly rated. Why do they have X player rated higher than we do? Well, we see them more often or not, or maybe they hear something we don't hear. So, and then the more we hear about things, the more it's like, okay, that kind of influences things a little bit on our side. So, but yeah, Cash Cooper made his debut. Was a kind of was a little smoother than Joe. Is it
Zika?
Ruxia? Rosica, yeah, who was out of Belmont, but he got bailed out by a double play. But Cash had his first throw to first base was wild. But no, overall, it was just good to see some of those arms make their debut. We haven't heard anything about Witherspoon. I don't think he's pitched in Bridge League either. I don't think.
No, I'm guessing he won't. Kuiper was a JUCO guy, and I don't know. I think Witherspoon had 80 innings this year with Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. I always want to say he's on Oklahoma State. It was Oklahoma, wasn't it?
Yeah, Oklahoma. Yeah,
So,
it was
um,
a Sooner.
I think if we were to see him, it would have happened already. But yeah, it's always fun to get a couple of these guys, and they all look like they have pretty decent arms. Even Pogue was an undrafted free agent. Was he scraped 97 with his sinker.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't necessarily, well controlled, but it's a good arm. So this is one of the fun times of the year where you get to see some guys and sort of make sweeping judgments based on 2 innings. I haven't touched the, haven't really.
Okay.
I did put that the regular season ends tomorrow, Tuesday. Uh, but the only thing I would have note there, well, two things. Chris Rodriguez did hit his 10th home run today. The Tigers DSL feed went out like 2 weeks ago and it hasn't come back, so can't get the clips unless it's on the road in certain places. And Koba did come back and pitch the other day. He actually pitched in relief. I think he pitched 3 innings, um, gave up a couple runs, but he's not hurt at least, so that was good to
Thank
see.
God.
So, but yeah, the DSL season's almost over. The two Tigers teams did not play very well this year. That is something that they need to figure out in the future if they care. But yeah,
By the way, it's
otherwise,
Kevin McGonagall's birthday too,
Rucker and McGonigal, same
and
birthday.
president of the baseball operations in Erie, Greg Coleman.
There you go. What a day for Tigers fans.
Yeah, what a day of celebration. And McGonagall's 21 now or 22?
Yeah, he's 21. He's the exact same birthday as Carson Rucker.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, for the 9.99. Appreciate it. We appreciate you checking us out. Thank you.
Ask a question.
Um, yeah.
Mitchell. Yeah. Angel de los Santos hype reel. I mean, I was basically hyping him up just because of the stats that he's put up so far, and he's 17, and that's fun. And well, there you go. Send Raj to fix DSL camera.
Yeah. Hey, I literally right now. You know what I've been doing? I cleaned out So this is what I've been doing since my unemployment. I have cleaned out the garage. I have took out the back of the garage, de-weeded the garden, so it's all dirt and cardboard now. The basement is the next project. I've redid my office, so all this is configured differently now. There's all this, and I'm playing video games I haven't played in years. Like I played Dishonor. It was a Batman Arkham Asylum. I haven't touched the game in 5 years.
Nice.
5 years since the last time since COVID, actually, technically.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot of things where I'm like, job searching in the morning, doing my thing, and then I'm like I'm gonna be busting out some articles here, doing some research, watch baseball at night. Then we're also, unfortunately, the insurance. Thank God their insurance is paying for a kitchen being redone because their kitchen, the pipe burst in December. Anyway, our kitchen's being done, so finally that's getting done, and so the house is just finally getting in order. So.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes it's it's obviously very stressful to go through something like this. It happened to me a year ago, but sometimes it is nice to get a little bit of break. I mean, it's not like you're not doing things; you're doing stuff around the house, but it's still like, there's stuff I've been meaning to do that I didn't have time to do. But we're hoping that you get back on your feet here soon.
Yeah, I hope to get back on my feet and get back at the swing of things there.
Anybody remember how the expansion draft works? Is Deadly Ninja Bees the one who was always asking us to do an expansion draft podcast or something like that? I don't remember who it was, but
I mean, I love to do, because the Tigers, for example, they lost a couple of players in that expansion draft. The last time they had one with the Rockies and the Marlins, they lost Kevin Ritz, they lost Scott Alfred. So, you know what? That's actually a really good idea too. And the same thing with just trying to figure out that. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. But as far as baseball, because I know Rob Manfred talked about possible expansion. He's been teasing it already, but just damn it, do it already. Just do it. Just get it over with and let's go. To end the podcast with, by the way, so realignment. I did want to talk about this because I thought this was. A lot of traditionalists would not like this. So let me see here. Let's see if I have it right here. The possibility of realignment. So let's see if I can find it. The news. It was something that was listed here. Division realignment. Okay. So anyway, Chris.
it was just the Jim Bowden one.
Yeah, I think it's a Jim Bowden one.
Yeah, that one, it made a lot of sense to me. The only thing that felt a little wrong was I don't think St. Louis and the Cubs were in the same division, which feels like they should be just for historical rivalry purposes. But I welcome it. I do. Some other people were talking about having bigger divisions too, like doing 8-team divisions or just two leagues again, two 16-team divisions, which would be more like soccer, I think, right? But um, I don't know. It's been too long since they've expanded. It's the longest period since expansion began, and it's fun to think about other teams getting big league teams, big league squads. I do think that I don't remember how it works exactly with the number of players you can protect, but it's usually something like you could protect like 25 of your 40 man, 30 or 40 man or something like that, and then you can't lose more than two players or four players, something like that. So I don't remember, but what happened?
Yeah, I don't remember either. And the thing is with this division alignment here, I don't like it because here's how it would work out for the Midwest. So Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Twins. Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Southwest, I don't know. Like, I have a hard time with Kansas City. I think Kansas City would. I mean, the Royals then make sense. A Ranger, like, I don't know. That seems like a joke of the division. I'm sorry. And then the Eastern Conference. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No,
Oh, okay. And then the Tigers would be the North. See, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like the North is Cincinnati. I think it's, okay, because they're both in Ohio. I get it, but
hmm
Tigers and Jays, that would be interesting. Um, but I do like the idea of two division, like just a two. The reason why I like the division alignment better is because it gives an opportunity to keep teams more in play, right? I mean, in terms of like division titles for whatever that's worth. But the Mid Atlantic idea, the Phillies are you gonna put the Phillies with this group right there and
I
not put
mean,
them in the Mid Atlantic? Come on, you know
well,
what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
Phillies and Mets. That's a deadly division right there. Whew.
oh
The
yeah,
yeah, there are a lot of different ways to do it. Uh, I do, yeah, but that Mid-Atlantic division right now, you kind of look at it through the lens of what the teams look like right now, and you're like, "Whew, that's a turd
yeah.
of a division." But things change.
I like how they call it the Pacific Coast the Rockies. That's not no, that doesn't make any sense. You would rather the West should be that doesn't make any sense. So
It's
wait a minute,
you know, you
wouldn't you? Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
just go leaders and legends, Big Ten style. Just give them stupid division names. Oh, this is the Clemente division or the Jackie Robinson division, and then teams have to play in their rivals' historical player division. Like the Guardians have to play in the K line division, and they're all upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean, the idea of the Eastern Conference, Western Conference, people talk about the getting rid of the American League and National League. Who gives a shit, really? I mean, honestly, like the American League and National League, for what it was more growing up,
Yeah,
it's not the same. It
there's
really isn't.
absolutely there's absolutely nothing. There's no difference between the leagues now. Remember
Yeah,
when pitchers hit? Ugh.
yeah,
Um,
ugh, exactly. And they all play each other now, so there's
yeah,
no.
there
To
were.
me, yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I mean, they used to have different umpires and different. They were different entities. So it's I don't know. There's no real difference anymore.
Yeah, you know what though? Look, I understand what Charles is saying. No way the AL and MVP Cy Young history becomes moot. No, it's not that. You could do it that way. You can continue the history of it. My point is maybe they keep the American League and they just put those division alignments that way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like keep it.
Yeah, but they will still have two. There's in every professional sport there's two conferences, right? At
Yeah,
least every North American sport. There'll always be two conferences just because that's how they finish playing the tournament. But and so you could keep all the awards, just yeah, the other stuff, the divisions and stuff. That's always up for debate and easy to move around and teams switching from league to other league. I wouldn't necessarily love it if they wanted to put the Tigers in the National League. That would feel very weird. But if they do it to other teams, I'm fine with it.
you know what though? I would think that the Tigers in the National League would it wouldn't to me make a
It
I
would
don't know.
just it feels wrong, but and it wouldn't. I don't know why they would have to do that, right? But
Yeah, I hope not. Look, the bottom line is I think they're not going to screw. I think Rob Manfred, if he had it his way, would get rid of history. I think he would. I don't think he really gives a shit about it. I mean, quite frankly, I don't think he
no, yeah,
cares.
I mean, he went on the broadcast to do that, and I think it was mostly to get expanded playoffs again. They just want more and more
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah,
It's only a matter of time before they start doing like the Emirates Bowl or whatever the stupid NBA thing is, where it's a tournament in the middle of the season that doesn't actually count
yeah.
for anything.
Well, the World
But
Baseball Classic, they'll somehow find a way to make the World Baseball Classic something that's relevant, where it's like, and what I mean is impactful to the playoff standings. There we go.
oh, well, yeah, that would take some chicanery, but it wouldn't shock me
Yeah,
as long as you can get a sponsor from the Middle East.
yeah. With Qatar, is it Qatar or
Qatar,
Qatar? Yeah,
some people call it
they're
Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah, Qatar.
I know nothing about that stuff, but at any rate, yeah. So I think any of the division, any of the podcasts on the division alignment, I think. Look, the bottom line is if the Tigers continue, like I wouldn't mind. You know what, a division I would love for this to happen. It would be. I like the idea of the Tigers, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Toronto, but I really think you need a fifth. I don't know. I think 5 teams would be fine. I think you would really. I would rather have like maybe something like. I wouldn't want one of the Chicago teams in there. I don't know. I think the Tigers and the White Sox and Tigers and Cubs are natural. It's a
I
natural
think
rivalry thing.
I think there could be a fun way to do it with 8 teams in divisions, right? Two 8-team divisions in each league. Then you could really have some fun. But yeah,
Mitch,
that's
you're,
just, that's
I
just a part.
just
No, I get it. Like it's very antithetical to everything we know, right? Like what? And it means nothing, right? But we've grown up with the Tigers in the American League, and it just doesn't feel right. But
Mitch, I can't. Somewhere, Gary, our president for the Saber
you'll have,
Southern Michigan chapter, is like, Riley, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Come on,
no,
Mitch.
I mean,
No, I'm like, for the sake of look, if you look behind me, I am a fan of history. Okay, I'm a fan of baseball history. I love baseball history. There is another 3 or 4 bookshelves downstairs of books that I have on baseball history. I don't want to ignore it, and I'm not trying to throw it away. However, we have a commissioner who is insisting on doesn't give a crap about it, and he's going to get his way because the owners are making money and they don't care.
mhm.
And Charles, that's right. I mean, the Braves were in the NL West. The Braves and the Reds were in the
Yeah,
NL West.
they would play against the Dodgers
Dodgers,
and the
Padres,
Padres. Yeah, it was
yeah,
that
madness.
was those were the divisions of our youth for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
Q in the hall, Q in the all in the family. Those
It
were the days. Yeah,
yeah, it's always like with that regard, it's always you want to preserve these kind of historical rivalries, but really new rivalries come up kind of naturally as particularly when 2 teams are good and playing each other a lot. I don't miss the days of playing the other division opponents 18, 19 times a year.
yeah,
It's more fun, I think, to play everybody. But if they did 8-team divisions, then maybe you could get some new rivalries. You could incorporate all the Chicago teams, and you know, which they should be, right? They should be in the same division as the Tigers.
yeah. They should be. Look, the Cubs and Tigers to me is a natural thing. Montreal, like as far as if it's Charlotte and Nashville, which seems to be the case, like excuse me, hold on.
No, multiple sneezer.
Oh, yeah. Also, that hurt my neck. One of those sneezes, like
Oh,
you get older and you get a sneeze and it hurts you. Yeah, ooh,
yeah.
crack. Yeah, but there's talk about Portland, but the citizens of Portland, talking to my friends that live out there, because I have a couple friends that live out there, they don't want a baseball team out there. They don't want the taxes. They don't want it, and it's
You know,
baseball is filled 3 times in Portland.
everybody wants it there because it gives Seattle a buddy, but yeah, it doesn't. I mean, maybe throw them out there somewhere in the Montana, Idaho place, and for the white nationalists, they need a team too, right?
Yeah.
The Kaczynskis, the fighting
Wow. Yeah.
Kaczynskis,
All right, we're getting
the
out of here. I
Bozeman
like
Unabombers.
jeez. Charles, I don't want them joining back with Boston, New York. Toronto, fine. I just don't want Boston, New York. I mean, it is kind of natural, but anyway.
Yeah,
All right.
like in my head, I'm picturing basically an East Coast division and a basically Central division and a Mountain
Yeah.
division and West. Like I think we could make that work. I'll look into it. I'll make
Salt
it
Lake
happen,
City,
and I'll make it happen.
yeah, Salt Lake City is a possibility too, but I don't know. It's
Yeah,
their AAA team
there it is.
doesn't really the Portland
Portland. I love it.
the Portland Antifas.
Yeah.
Orlando,
No more Florida
no,
baseball.
no. They don't. It doesn't. What was it? They had a spring training facility there. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as much as
Disney.
Orlando is a cool market, it's I don't know. I think Northern Florida, yeah, they're done with baseball.
Yeah,
It
I
just seems
think.
like that.
Yeah, you're looking at Charlotte, you're looking at Nashville, you're looking at Montreal, you're looking at theoretically maybe another Texas team.
San Antonio,
San
San Antonio wants a team
Antonio.
really
Yeah.
bad. Oakland would be
Oakland.
nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Again,
There should be a team in Oakland.
there should be. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Orlando would be a Mickey Mouse operation. There we go. Boom. All right. On that note, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to the Tiger Minor League Report podcast. We definitely appreciate it. Vancouver is actually, man, that's a good option too for Seattle.
Yeah. Oh man, beautiful
Definitely.
place.
But the problem is Vancouver, the taxes in Canada right there in Vancouver are insane.
It's expensive there, but it's a beautiful place to live, and also these
Yeah.
players make a lot of money, so
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
they'll be fine. You know, whatever. But stay close, everybody. But if you're going to be out in Erie this week, I'll be out there Wednesday, Thursday, possibly Friday. Like I said, Friday more likely, depending on how the job thing goes. But thank you so much for the donations. Thank you for listening. And if you're a Patreon member, these slides will be up for you in the morning. And we'll, like I said, I just posted a Juan Encarnacion prospect flashback in
Very
60
good.
seconds. I have to send it to you afterwards, Chris. It was there's not a lot of video. The problem with doing these prospect flashbacks with some of the players, so Juan Encarnacion, there's not a lot of video of him. Nor there's I did ask for Mike Laga. For anybody who remembers Mike Laga, he was one that I think he still holds the all-time record for most home runs in a season for a Tiger minor leaguer. And he got up to Detroit a couple times and just never caught on. And then he played with St. Louis afterwards. I think he was traded for Matt Noakes in a three-way deal. I can't remember how,
Sounds
or maybe Mike Heath. I can't remember. But the prospect flashbacks will be a little bit harder to do because I'm trying to figure out the video component of it. But there's gonna be some video on Isaac Pacheco. There's gonna be Peyton Graham. There's gonna be articles. There's gonna be so much more coming this way. So stay close, everybody. Have a good night, and we will talk to you later this week on Thursday for the Motor City Metrics podcast. Have a good night.